The world that I'm creating through my artwork, the way I see it, it's an undisclosed timeline, and it's several hundred years in the future. It's supposed to be a world creating itself based upon our world, but our world, say a couple hundred years after it reached a certain level of progression and then fell apart. And at this point in the evolution of my work, it takes place in San Francisco, or what remains of San Francisco, but also what has been built up of this city.
I've just been building up to this show for a long time, and I've been working on it now roughly for a year, putting most of my time and energy into it. The majority of my paycheck. It's by far the biggest thing I've ever done. It's almost like everything I've ever done to this point combined in one fucking show. Yeah, make an effort, sort of my affirmation or call to action, to kill it, to slay it, to make my impression. The woman that you see in most of my artwork is a woman I found online completely at random. The actual woman herself actually has no significance, unlike the people that model for me that do. And I wanted to use that image of her sort of and put it up everywhere. At first randomly, just to see what people would say or what people would think about it, because it's a good looking woman and people always identify with sharp features, the idea of beauty or mystery or whatever it is. And so I started building up the idea for changing her as I went on, as I heard more and more people's opinions. And the first time I put it up in LA, some blog caught it and called it the Nun of War. And so that's when I started to realize that there might be some kind of religious significance to it, or at least the way people interpret it. So the way that I see it at this point is kind of my way of assuming a martyr, or some particular individual, in this case a female, that did something or led something or contributed something to the world that people remembered and cherished, and put her image up everywhere for generations to come, like you would with Che Guevara or Martin Luther King or Obama. So that's sort of my version of that. And being the fan of science fiction that I am, I also kind of see her as my Sarah O'Connor, or Ripley or something like that. Majority of my subject matter just comes from personal experience. It's more getting to know people, talking to people, hearing about their experiences in their lives or with particular events that they went through. Sort of, yeah, just soaking it in from there and then building up the world from a lot of those ideas. Most of my new pieces I created with Shaun Roberts. We come up with a shot list together, put together a photo shoot with people from San Francisco. They come in, we dress them up, they pose for us, and we decide on exactly how to present them based on a little bit who they are. People that I chose were either people that volunteered and we worked with them from there, or people I thought about specifically, friendships, other artists, people that I've gotten to know over the years, and photograph them with the intention of putting them in a scenario unfamiliar to what they were used to, but taking their personality, their talents, or the idea of who they were and just translating them to this world. When I have somebody model for me, I tell them as precisely as I can what I'm doing. People have different views on the world, different views on politics. Some people swing towards the left, some people swing towards the right, who knows? So I wanted to give them a clear understanding of the world that I'm portraying, so that way, if I had a photo of and use them as a reference, and then they saw the way in which they were presented, they wouldn't have so much of a problem with it afterwards. So using their handprints in the actual piece, it's sort of them signing the piece along with me, but also kind of reaffirming their interest in the world, or they're willing to participate in it. Not only are they signing the piece with me, but they're also giving me a term of agreement to go along with it. It also takes the person outside of the context of I'm just using them as a photo reference, when in fact I'm not just using them as a photo reference, I'm also using their persona or personality or identity in the piece too. I'm fusing it. It becomes a collaboration with that person that's modeling for me. Same as it would be with a collaboration with Shaun. you know, in photographing them. So it's like their handprint. Since the show is at White Walls, and that's the gallery I've been trying to get into for like 3 years now, and finally got my shot, it's definitely a significant thing to me. You know, I think it's like the dopest gallery in the city, and that's the only place in San Francisco that I really want to be at. So I think to me it's sort of like a milestone, and I don't think I could have it as dope of a show anywhere else in San Francisco either. It's got to be at White Walls or nowhere.